Hello again and welcome to What the Papers Are Saying, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. I am Sammy Riafi, and What the Papers Are Saying will bring you the conversations, the discussions and the analysis of the stories as presented by our colleagues within the media space. A number of issues have dominated media discussions in the course of the week. And I'm very much aware that you know of all these, especially the recent announcement by the Public Utility Regulatory Commission on the announcement of some tariff adjustments. The PURC says from the 1st of January 2026, water consumers are expected to pay some 15% of increase, and electricity consumers are also expected to pay between 9%. And they say that it takes effect on the 1st of January. The Trade Union Congress, or Organized Labour, is not happy, and they have publicly said that they will resist this increment because it does not sit well with them. That is how the Dispatch newspaper published the story. It says, utility tariff to go up on January 1, 2026, electricity 15.9%, water 15.9%, and electricity 9.8%. The Daily Graphic says, Traders Union, businesses decry water power tariff hike. The Herald newspaper on this same subject matter says, TUC slams insensitive tariff increase, threatens nationwide resistance. Major Online says, you can't give us 9% and take back 24%. TUC slams government over tariff hike. Also this week, the Minister of Health is unhappy because doctors who have been posted to some parts of the country have refused to move to these areas. And he said that he's giving these doctors 1 week ultimatum. If they don't go, there will be a validation and then consequences may happen. At a press conference in Parliament, the minister says that these doctors must go to their posts for the patients in these regions to have health care. And that is how the Graphic Online published the story. It says, newly employed doctors given December 12 deadline to report as Health Ministry clears nurses' salary arrears. Major Online says, invest in social amenities to attract doctors to underserved regions. That's the president of the Ghana Medical Association, Professor Ernest York. Also this week, the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Electoral Commission dominated discussion. It has to do with the decision of some individuals to present a petition or a number of petitions to the presidency or President John Dramani Mahama seeking the removal of the Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabin and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her 2 deputies. For them, there are some infractions as far as the activities are concerned, and the president must remove them. And this is how the Chronicle newspaper published the Electoral the petition against the Electoral Commission chairperson and her 2 deputies. The Chronicle newspaper says EC bosses SP's days in office numbered as President Mahama forwards petition for their removal to the Chief Justice. Daily Graphic, remove SP EC chair 2 deputies, 10 petitioners appeal to President Mahama. The Herald newspaper says petition against OSP cites mismanaged 364 million cedis others. And Channel 1 says, petition against EC boss, part of NDC's agenda. Adomako Kisi, former member of parliament for the Anya Sotum constituency. We still stay with the conversation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. His recent public banter between himself and private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu, which has dominated media discussion even till today. And you're aware Martin Kpebu appeared before the Office of the Special Prosecutor following an invitation. He was detained and later released. He was granted bail and a whole lot of issues. And this is how City Newsroom ran the story. It says, I would be preferred, or I'll be a perfect for Special Prosecutor, but not now. Martin Kpebu. Major Online, Martin Kpebu vows to present mother of all petitions seeking removal of Special Prosecutor. Graphic Online, Parliament to invite Special Prosecutor Kissie Jabin to explain circumstances behind Martin Kpebu's arrest and detention. This week as well, the 2432 was in the news at the Menchia Palace. It has to do with the mediation process involving the factions in the Bawku crisis. The 24 is done with a 2-day mediation process and is expected to brief President John Dramani Mahama on the peace plan as far as restoring lasting peace in the Bawku enclave. And this is how the Ghanaian Times ran the story. Asante concludes Bawku mediation set to brief President Mahama. Daily Guide, Bawku dispute mediation, Otunfo calls for calm. Daily Graphic, Bawku conflict mediation, parties embrace after final meeting, Asante to present peace plan to President Mahama. And Channel 1 News says, prepare your people for lasting peace, Otunfo to Bawku factions. So these are the issues we are discussing tonight on what the papers are saying. Go for a quick break. When I come back, I introduce my guest.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theatre made its debut.
Before Ogun, the God of Iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
We sent you all the way to Ile-Ife to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand and in honor of Maoli Semevo, Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents The Gods Are Not to Blame. This December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *714*46# for your tickets. Single 250 cedis, double 400 cedis. Supported by New Plant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa. Sponsors Stambic Bank, our media partners, and proudly brought to you by
MTN.
You're welcome back. You're still watching What the Papers Are Saying, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. I am Sammy Wiafe. Tonight, two gentlemen will be with me in the studio for us to have a conversation on a number of topics that I've just mentioned to you. To my right, Hansen Ajima, here with us at City FM and Channel 1 Television. And then Elvis Darko, editor of News Center, also with us here on the show. He features regularly in the morning Breakfast Daily, and so he's also not really a new face as far as Channel 1 Television is concerned. Elvis, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We'll start with the Special Prosecutor and the discussions about it. Today in Parliament, the majority leadership in the House, led by Majority Leader Mahama Yarega, called for the abolishment of the office of the Special Prosecutor. To him, he feels the office has lost it and the office is not living up to expectation as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. It comes on the back of the arrest, or will I say detention, of Martin Kpebu and his subsequent release.
Speaker, we are saying that the office of the Special Prosecutor has abused its powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to say that this House, we created the office. And the office of the Special Prosecutor, if it continues to abuse his powers, then we may have to abrogate it. This House, we shall be inviting him to come and brief the House the circumstances under which he will detain a citizen under such whimsical circumstances.
I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. I honestly think we should abolish it because we've experimented it and we cannot see any achievement. Major cases of clear corruption. Up to date, the office has not been able to do anything. So it cannot do anything.
That's the majority leader in Ghana's parliament, Mahama Yarega, and member of parliament for the Boko Central constituency. Office, I'll start with you. You think the office of the special prosecutor has lived its usefulness?
Well, I say, it depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
So, I have always said that the office of the special prosecutor, from day one, there were various concerns as to how the office should have been created. There were suggestions that in other countries like the US, there's no office of special prosecutor. But when there are cases that the government and society, for this, the magnitude of the case is huge, they appoint somebody as a special prosecutor to deal with that single case.
Okay.
And when the person is done, that is the work, is done. So they do it case by case basis. We chose to set up an office called the Office of the Special Prosecutor. If you read the mandate per the law, if it is executed, it would help a lot in the fight against corruption. So the act that is set it up and the mandate that is been given, if it's able to deliver on the mandate, really, there would have been some applause for the office. But I remember very well that when the office was about to be set up, there were public fora where views were sought. And I never forget this because I remember very well the way the Iyoko officials at the time were bashed heavily. Because at one public fora where Iyoko was present, they said, look, the problem we have where they think that focus must go to is about going to the court to prosecute people. And that as at the time, all the agencies after investigation, they have to send their docket to the Attorney General's office. And they have hundreds of dockets locked up there, and it's so difficult to get the prosecution done. So they believe that the Office of Special Prosecutor should always be doing prosecution and not investigation.
Okay.
So that part of the agency's work of prosecution now will be hived off and given the Office of Special Prosecutor. So that means that the Iyoko and the rest, when now they finish their work, they will no longer send to AG's office. They send it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to prosecute. The public, especially MPP supporters at that time, were angry that their party made a promise to the people. They want to execute the promise. And now, some people are making other suggestions. They insulted the Iyoko officials at that time very well for making that proposal. We went ahead and set up the OSP. Now, from Mati Amidu to Kisi, the argument is that, which is genuine anyway, investigating corruption is a very complex process, and that it requires a lot of resources, especially financial and human resources. We set up the OSP, and the OSP has a skeletal staff, and they are supposed to investigate very complex corruption cases and be able to prosecute. So the expectation from someone like me was that, look, focus on your job and get the job done. From Martin Amidi till now, if you want to ask which high-profile corruption case the office has been able to successfully nail, it's problematic. They would cite, La Bianca case, they were able to get some 1 million paid back to the state. And then they will come and tell you about Sleda, but they couldn't recover anything because then we were told that the case have to go to Iyoko because it's money laundering and it is not in their mandate. Despite all the back and forth. I believe that the problem we are having now with the OSP is their media battles. They have drawn so much attention to themselves through this back and forth media battle, want to react to everything. So the public say if you have the time to be talking, then you must be able to do the job. And then if you are looking at the job you are doing and you're talking, you are actually talking more than the work you are supposed to be doing. And that is why there's so much pressure on them. Because if you look at it and look at police CID, or across Ghana, CIDs are everywhere. If you look at Iyoko, they have a lot of people they work with. You look at all the agencies, but if you ask, what's the number of staff the OSP has right now? They are limited. So I believe that they brought this attention onto themselves, and the people are saying that You have so much time to be organizing press conferences, reacting to every sneeze in every corner. Then what is the actual work you are doing? And when you look at their record, OSP from Mati Amidu now to Kisi has spent about 4 years now in the office.
He came in 2021.
You understand it? Mati Amidu spent about 3 years. So the office is at least about 7 years old. What are the significant cases can we talk about that have been completed within the 7 years? It's difficult to point to one. So then you look at the performance of the office. These are all the media battles they are having. You'll be tempted to say the office is not delivering. But as I said, if you look at the mandate per what is on paper, if the focus is on the mandate and they do their work well, like the OSP would have been doing a lot of great. But because the performance compared to the lot of talk in the public is at variance, people believe that then it's like the office now has been set up as Office of Media Relations and Office of Media Response instead of Office of Investigation and Prosecution. And I believe that because of that media battles they are running, that's why there's so much pressure on them. Look, Raymond Atta is a journalist of great standards. He is now head of IYOKO. IYOKO had come under several attacks for the bail conditions that we all have been criticizing and the way they even go and arrest people. Have you ever heard Raymond Atta, who is the media person, coming out to come and address the media on any issue? They are focused on their work as investigators to get something done. But lawyers managing OSP rather found it necessary that the best they could do is always be running media battles, rather than doing the real investigations to get people into jail.
But if there are issues to be explained, there are issues to, let people know of, you don't think they should come to the media space?
What do Ghanaians want to do? We had the CID, we have a BNN now, NIB, we had FIC, we have IYOKO, we have all kinds of intelligence institutions, and we said that the fight against corruption is not making any inroads because we think that all these organizations, one way or the other, they are somehow compromised because of the way they are set up and everything. So we said, for us to get some meaningful result, it's the OSP. And so the focus of the public of OSP is that they will be nailing high-profile corruption cases, recovering big money for the state, and sending people to jail. We didn't put them there to go and be running around and doing media battles. If that's the case, then it was necessary because the police every now and then will organize press conference to tell us what they are doing. So the OSP was not set up to do a similar thing. So this argument of if there are issues to be explained, what Ghanaians want you to explain is that tomorrow a case has gone to court, somebody has been found guilty, 100 million or 50 million has been recovered, the person's in jail, and by 7 years now, we're expecting to see maybe 20 or 30 high-profile corrupt people either in jail or somewhere.
Fighting corruption is always difficult. Because if you fight corruption will fight back.
That's the reason they have to focus on the job. That's the reason they should stop the talking. That's the reason they should say, oh, we have maybe this investigator, but we need more because the work is becoming more complex and we need more to get. And when you are getting resources and you're asking for more, we'll give you more. But when it's more of talk, and the result shows that we are really not getting value for money based on expenditure we are making and the expectation for setting up the office, then you cannot justify your media route. Because if you want to have a media battle, they will also demand results from you. But if you are focused on the work, if you are focused, and in 7-8 years, we get that, maybe 20 high-profile corruption cases have been sent to court under OSP. Maybe within the 7 years, 10 convictions have been done. Then we are counting, just about then you come. The OSP is working on this case. They will list a whole lot of cases. What about the conclusion of the cases? See, I've said it in this Fourth Republic. If you want to sit down from Rawlings, Kufuor, Milton, you want to count the allegations of high-profile corruption against people in this, we may get 1,000 cases. But if you want to find out how many of those high-profile corruption did we send people to jail, you may not get 30 people. So the situation is that it's easy to make the allegation, but proving and convicting people has become a problem. And that is why we brought the OSP and says, you will not be under the influence of anybody, including AG. That's why the OSP does not need to send his docket to the AG before he prosecutes. But then for 7 years, 8 years, when we are asking now, what are the real results of the OSP's work?
So show working.
That is the
show working.
Show the working that has been done.
Obviously. Just hold on. I'll come to you in a bit. Hansen, should we be worried now because the office that was set up to fight corruption and corruption-related issues, we are now having people run down this office to the extent that even in Parliament today, the Speaker says the Ministry of Finance should reconsider the budgetary allocation to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Should we be worried?
I think that the point has to be made that 7 years in setting up an anti-corruption agency, it's not enough to set it up effectively to do what we want. And so as a people, if we've come to realize that our constitution under Article 88 puts the powers of prosecution solely in the hands of the Attorney General, who is also supposed to be a Minister of State. And because of how things have been structured over the period, when it comes to the specific crime of corruption and corruption-related offenses, the Office of the Attorney General and its allied agencies have not been able to operate in a manner that we want them to do. And we found reason in that to create an Office of the Special Prosecutor, who is one supposed to investigate corruption, to recover monies that are proceeds of corruption and manage them, and also to take steps to prevent corruption. Then I'm saying that 7 years is not enough to say that let's scrap the office. It does not also mean that 7 years within this period, we cannot assess the performance of those who have actually held the office. We can assess the office, assess the individuals who are there, and then objectively ask ourselves, what should the future look like? And do we need to amend the Enabling Act for the office, or do we need people of a certain kind to head that particular office? I think that this conversation has come up broadly because of the issues with respect to Martin Kpebu. And largely, a number of people have condemned the actions of Kissi Agyabeng and the Office of the Special Prosecutor because obviously, on face value, it looks like an abuse of power. But when you're talking about the Office of the Special Prosecutor now and want to assess where it is, you need to look at it holistically. And so the point has to be made that we need to, where we need to applaud Kissi Agyabeng, we need to do so. In setting up of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, not necessarily just the building itself, but even getting structures operating, getting budgetary allocations and working within the limited resources to get the office operational. I don't think that anybody would disagree with the point that he's done phenomenal work with the office structure as we have it now compared to what we had with respect to Martin Amidu. And so on that level, we need to agree that he's done well. On recoveries, on his website, he talks about recovering about 31.89 million Ghana cedis. He talks about making savings of about 6.55 billion Ghana cedis. This looks good on face value, but the problem is that we don't have any context really to be able to help us appreciate properly how much have we been spending on the Office of the Special Prosecutor vis-a-vis these savings and recoveries, and does it even make business sense to say that we are keeping the Office of the Special Prosecutor? And so on face value, even though he's done some recoveries, it's not enough to say that when it comes to the recovery mandate as an Office of the Special Prosecutor, we have gained as a people. Obviously, recently you heard about conversations of some vehicles the office wanted to purchase.
Bulletproof vehicles and the rest.
And I mean, if you've been to the Office of the Special Prosecutor before, it's the place is pleasant compared to other investigative agencies that you enter. Even the reception, there's a logo of the Office of the Special Prosecutor at the reception that nobody is supposed to step on. And so, so the point I'm making essentially is that the amount with which we are pumping into the Office of the Special Prosecutor, are we getting our money's worth when it comes to the recoveries? And so even though on the website, he talks about the recoveries he's made, it's not enough to make a pronouncement as to whether he has done well or not. But at least on the aspect of recoveries, he has shown that he has recovered 31.9 million Ghana cedis. He has shown that he has saved the country 6.55 billion Ghana cedis. He has shown that some transactions that he has got them to be cancelled has saved the country certain amount of money, and he has frozen certain assets. But the big reason the office has been set up, which is to investigate and prosecute corruption and corruption-related offenses. I think all of us know the answer. How many of these cases has he sent to court and successfully seen through? Some of them may not be his problem, because we all understand our legal system and sometimes how some of these issues will drag. I mean, issues that, cases that are being sent to court by the Office of the Attorney General, some will take about 4 to 5 years before they are done, depending on the kind of accused person you get and his own strategy of how he wants to fight his case. But when it comes to the investigation and prosecution, particularly when it comes to the prosecution of corruption and corruption-related offenses, I don't think that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, either under Kissi Agyebeng or Martin Amidu, has performed to the level we would have expected the office to have performed to. And so, linking from my first point about not being in a haste to say that because of that we are scrapping the office, we should be looking at what is inhibiting them from properly prosecuting some of these cases. And on face value, I can say that the manner in which sometimes they also approach these issues, and it's as though and this is how it looks from the outside. It might be different, but it's as though they are quick to get the applause of the nation rather than doing the work properly. I mean, if you follow the Cecilia Dapar case, your act gives you the mandate to seize assets that are a matter of investigation. But that same act gives you the requirement to go to the High Court and to affirm the seizure of those assets. And as the Office of the Special Prosecutor, you ignore that. I mean, those slight errors tend to frustrate your own investigations and prosecutions. And as we go on, his actions and the way he approaches some of these things tend to affect the perception and the public confidence around the office. And mind you, corruption is a perception game. And so when people do not have trust in you as the anti-graft body, and the perception is that you are playing theatrics with the fight against corruption, then obviously it's not going to be a good one for you.
Okay.
And I link this to the fact that
in 30 seconds, because we need to go for
he's the only, to a large extent, anti-corruption agency where there's a mandate for him to publish half-yearly reports.
Yeah.
And you do that. So why don't you wait and publish or say everything you want to say in your half-yearly report? Yeah, rather than from time to time...
Which office has a problem?
Yeah, because the point is that when you do these press conferences, but we are not seeing actual progress in the investigations and the prosecutions, then the public perception, public confidence in your office is dwindling. And then you are not going to get the proper momentum to be able to fight corruption as you ought to.
Hansen, thank you. You're still watching What the Papers Are Saying, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. I am Sami Wiafe. Two gentlemen with me, Hansen Agyeman and Elvis Darko, doing discussion on what the papers are saying. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theatre made its debut.
Before Ogun, the God of Iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
We sent you all the way to Ile-Ife to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand and in honor of Maoli Semevo, Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents
Odewale.
The Gods Are Not to Blame this December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *714*46# for your tickets. Single 250 cedis, double 400 cedis. Supported by New Plant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa. Sponsors Stambic Bank, our media partners, and proudly brought to you by
MTN.
You're welcome back. You're still watching What the Papers Are Saying, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. I am Sami Wiafe. With me in the studio is Elvis Dako, editor of News Center, and Hansen Ajiman, with us here at CTFM and Channel 1 Television. Gentlemen, I'll take your final bite on this matter. And my question to you, Elvis, is that should we as a country, or should Parliament, as pushed by Mahama Yarga, majority leader, should we do away with the office of the Special Prosecutor and give all the other powers to the Attorney General to fight corruption and corruption-related offenses in the country?
I don't think we have to do away with it, because I have always been of the view that the Attorney General cannot represent us well because he's the government chief advisor. So if we cannot have a Minister of Justice separate from the Attorney General, then the only option we have is the OSP. So I don't think that we should scrap it. But what I would suggest is that I think picking of Kisi Ejabin, to me, in my assessment, was not well thought through. In my view, I believe that because the office is going to be pure investigation and prosecution, somebody who is a very wonderful law lecturer like Kisi Ejabin might not necessarily be a good prosecutor or investigator. So I would have preferred somebody who has a track record in successful prosecutions of maybe 10 or 15 years and has a track record of maybe 70 to 80% success rate in conviction in prosecuting criminal cases, to be somebody to be the OSP. Because that is the main purpose we set it up, to actually make sure that we have successful prosecution in criminal cases. So I would have preferred, and I advise that if there's going to be any special prosecutor in the future, we should look for people who have established a track record of between 70 to 80% success record in criminal prosecution to be the OSP. But just picking somebody because he's a lawyer, picking somebody because he's a good law lecturer or something, to me, I think it's a deficiency for such a person to head the OSP. Because the main purpose is to be able to prosecute people successfully. So if we get somebody with the track record of 70 to 80% success rate of 15 years prosecution record as a prosecutor, and we put that person at the OSP, we will get more results than what we are having. I will not call for a scrapping, but I will say that we should have an OSP who should sit back and do his work, get people investigated, take people to God, get people jailed, and we applaud him. Kisi Ejabin came to tell us that he's going to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. When the pressure mounted and questions and answers were coming, now he comes to tell us that even the extradition will be at the will of the U.S. government, and that the fact that you file for extradition means that the person will be brought. When the pressure was mounted to a point, they asked him, did you have anything sent to the AG? Because the OSP cannot extradite anybody. He has to go to the AG. Did you follow that process? It's turned out that it was not that. So the press conference where you came to tell us that you are going to extradite Uriata, or based on what? See, so that's what I'm saying, that to me, all the attacks on them is coming because of how they have decided to do a media battle.
It means they open their mouth too wide.
So they should just sit, do their job. As for the minority, what they have said today, it's not different from the time the OSP is being set up. From Bagby to Ayariga and co. When they were vehemently opposed. They also had their position that creating more institutions doesn't bring efficiency. And that when the agency department is not able to hire enough lawyers because the salary is poor, and therefore lawyers don't want to work there, it's rather looking at how you can give a very good salary scheme to the agency's office and get more lawyers to do the prosecution. It's not about creating another office. And that since we have all these agencies into investigations already, from NIB, CID, FIC, Yoko and Co., it was needless to ask the OSP to also be doing another investigation. So they also have very solid points and think that instead of sinking resources into creating another institution, why don't use the resources and empower the existing ones to do better? Okay. So the minority had a genuine case as to why they think an office of OSP was not needed. But for me, the reason I, at the time, also believe that we needed it is that the AG, as I said, cannot be the Minister of Justice when he's
his own colleagues.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I believe that we either opt for a Minister for Justice, which is separate from the AG's department. And since we're not ready to do that, the OSP comes in handy as the only alternative. That's why for me, from day one, I think that the OSP was going to serve like a Minister for Justice that we were never going to appoint and would have served our interests more better than the AG. And therefore, for me, calls to scrap the office entirely, I'm not for it. The office must remain. If we think that Kisi is not doing a good job and he will go and somebody will come on board, that one, I have not made that assessment. I think that Kisi and the media battle is why people are attacking him. I don't think that if I look at the staff numbers of the OSP and I compare to police and Yoko, if I'm comparing their performance to Yoko, I'm being unfair to the OSP. Because the number of staff the Yoko have, the number of staff that the police have, NIB has and the rest, OSP does not have maybe 20% of that. So if I'm comparing their performance to those institutions, it will be a mismatch. But the only reason we are comparing, or people are comparing, is that they seem to even be louder than these institutions that have more people. So when you are talking plenty, they will also be asking you more questions.
Elvis, thank you. Hansen, should we do away with the office?
Let's allow the office to grow.
It's been 7 years.
Yes, let's allow the office to grow. We set up an office with the idea of making it independent as it can for a 7-year term for one person. 2 persons have, for now, been there for this 7 years. And as I've indicated, you can see that Kisi is doing something with respect to setting up the office to operate. His own actions and inactions might be on doing some of the things he's working at. But if he's been there for 4 years, I think it's left with 3 years. Let's allow him those 3 years to operate, and let's see how 7 years, when a special prosecutor operates in full mandate, we are going to the sort of office that we are going to get. In the meantime, what advisors close to Kisi Ejagbem can do is to tell him or to let him know how some of the things he's doing is undoing the corruption fight that he seeks to fight.
Okay, Hansen, thank you very much. We move to the next topic. The Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah, is unhappy. Reason, doctors who have been posted to certain parts of the country have refused the posting and say that they will not go to these places. So this week, he addressed a press conference and gave some statistics of doctors who have been posted to certain regions and they have refused to report. And for instance, he says in the Ahafo region, 21 doctors were posted, only 8 reported. In the Ashanti region, 33 doctors were posted and only 25 reported. In the Bono region, 29 and 11 reported. Bono East, 27 and 9 reported. In the Central region, he says 34 doctors were posted and only 20 reported. The sad part of the statistics given by the health minister is that in the Upper East region, 35 doctors were posted, 0 reported. In the Upper West region as well, 32 doctors, 0 reported. So the minister is really worried about the situation. And he also says that in the Western North region, 31 doctors were posted and only 2 reported. He's giving these doctors a 1-week ultimatum to report to their posting areas or regions, and after there will be validation. The president of the Ghana Medical Association has come out publicly to speak on this matter. He says that the reason some of these doctors are not going to these regions is because of one, lack of accommodation, lack of learning opportunities, and a number of them. But I want to ask, so until these things are met, do we mean that these doctors will not report to these centers or these regions as announced by the Minister of Health? Hansen, it should be worrying that doctors who have been trained with the taxpayers' money have been asked to go and serve the same taxpayers in some regions, and they refuse to visit or even go to this region that they've been posted to.
You see, when we start a conversation on that level, then we might be on entering points. Because when you begin to say that doctors who have been trained with taxpayers' money, but regardless of how you watch it,
but that is the fact.
No, but regardless, they don't go for the medical school for free. They pay for their school fees. Obviously, yes, government would take part of it. But essentially, for somebody who goes to medical school, the person will take care of majority of the cost and the effort you will need to go through to go to medical school. And so when we center the conversation as though it's a certain privilege that we bestowed on them to go and learn medicine and they have to go to anywhere we send them, then we are getting it wrong. And that will make government take the posture that perhaps it is taking. Because at the end of the day, we agree that a medical doctor in Accra is not the same as a medical doctor in the Upper East, somewhere they have, from the numbers given by the health minister, they have declined postings too. We've even heard the president of the Ghana Medical Association bold enough to say that when medical doctors are far away from major cities and major towns, they are not able to do what in our parlance we will say galamsey.
Yeah. For them, they call it locum.
Certainly, because at the end of the day, for those who are in Accra, they're able to get some other sources of income. They're able to get some other sources of income. But for those who live to other areas, may not be able to get other sources of income.
Hansen, I'll come back to you shortly. Obvious. So should we, the same question I posed to him, that why will, taxpayers' money be used in educating, these doctors, and then they will refuse to go to these places as required by their profession?
If we treat them and give them the kind of incentives we give to politicians, like members of parliament, they will go. But when we want to treat them like they are just like any other person, they won't go. Because a medical doctor, okay, today Dr. Titus Boyu, right, was a medical, he was with the Ghana Medical Association, okay. He worked with the association for all this time, and now he has become a member of parliament. The moment he becomes a member of parliament, he gets a V8. The time he was a medical doctor, did the system buy him a V8 because he was a medical doctor serving the country? No. By the moment he becomes a member of parliament, a fresh V8 will be bought for him, and the state pays 60% of that cost, and the MP is supposed to pay 40%. And now even Bagwin says that they shouldn't pay, because if ministers are driving the V8 for free, they don't pay any part of it. The MPs are also working for the state, and they shouldn't pay for it. So if you give a doctor who is sent to the upper, so if you go there's a brand new V8 waiting for you. You know that the MPs, they get accommodation allowance, okay? And so if there's no 2-bedroom house, this is how much an MP is paid for accommodation. You also get the same. If we treat the doctors that way, they will all go anywhere in Ghana. But a doctor goes to school 7 years, you want him to go to the Upper West region, okay, to go and serve. And then he moves from Accra to Upper, and then maybe a first degree holder, somebody maybe he's not even a degree holder, becomes an MP there, he has accommodation in Accra. He gets good quality water in Accra to be drinking. He's living in a good house in Accra. He's driving a big car, V8 in Accra. And you think that the doctor is not smart. The doctor is smart. He won't go. Because if he stays in Accra, there are about 3 or 4 or 5 different private hospitals. So if today is his official duty at his government hospital, the remaining days that he's not going to be working in the government hospital, he goes to do locum in those private hospitals. Yeah. So at the end of the day, if the state pays him 7,000 or 10,000 a month, maybe each of the private hospitals will pay him 5,000 a month. So if he's doing about 3 or 4 hospitals, he gets another 20,000 and add it to this, is 30,000. He can also live a comfortable life. But if you send him to the region where the only hospital there is the district hospital, there's no private hospital to do any locum, nothing to earn any extra income. Yet he doesn't have a V8 like the member of parliament. He doesn't get accommodation allowance that the member of parliament gets. He doesn't get all the largesse and the perks around what a member of parliament gets. But he wants him to go and now stay in that rural area and save lives. You see, I've always said this. These things will continue to happen. It's not only doctors. Teachers are posted, they don't go. Nurses are posted, they don't go. And we are sitting there and thinking that by magic or by complaint or by the minister saying that he will do validation and not pay them, they won't go. He won't go. Because in Accra, if he doesn't work in a government hospital and he gets 3 or 4 private hospitals and works there, he will still make the more money than you sending him to that rural area. So he's not going. So this approach of the minister and giving ultimatum, yes, you take them off. There are so many private hospitals who needed their services. They will go and work in 3, 4 hospitals. Doctors travel from here to regions to go and do, especially those who are specialists. They travel to the regions to go and work, and they get more money. Some travel from the regions to Accra to come and work, and they make more money. So this threat is not what is going to send the doctors there. See, in this country, there are a lot of things that we do sometimes. It works, and then you don't know what happened there. Somebody just will decide to abandon it. I remember there was a point where teachers and nursing issues came, and there was this brilliant idea that, look, let assemblies sponsor people. Okay? Assemblies should identify people from the community who are interested, that they will go to the schools and come and serve in the community. And let them sign a bond with us. And the assembly pays their fees, and when they finish, they will come back. I think that every regional administration should be given a certain target and says that every year sponsor this number of doctors who, when they finish, they will come and serve in the region. Yeah. And the person's parents struggle to pay medical school fees for 7 years. Even whether subsidized or not, the medical school fees is not small, okay? It's a lot of money. And despite the subsidy, that balance that the parents are supposed to pay is a lot of money for that family. So if that person is able to go through for 7 years, he also needs to work and make money. While the loans were taken for to pay the fees, he has to pay. How to make sure the parents who struggle to make sure that him or her got to that place can get some good living, he has to know it. So you cannot go and put the person in a place where the person realizes that all I get is my monthly salary and there's nothing. And the person sees a colleague who is now a member of parliament or a minister. He sees somebody that he feels that even academically he has done more in terms of studies than the person. But because the person wins a seat as a member of parliament, the person gets a V8, get all kinds of. You expect that doctor who has gone to school for 7 years to say that because I want to save Mother Ghana, I am going to stay in that rural area. It won't happen. So this approach of the minister, I don't know where they get some of this advice from. I think that smart thing I would suggest, and I said we've done it before for teachers and nurses, is to look at how regions can be given a certain mandate and say, go look for people who will be willing to serve it. Look, there are so many people, I can tell in this country, who have very good grades, can go to medical school, and when they finish, they'll be willing to go back to wherever community they come from to go and serve. Unfortunately, medical school has become a place for only a few. So getting admission to medical school in Ghana has become like, it's more scarce than, I don't know what is scarce in the world today. It's more scarce than getting a thriving economy. So if you have limited opportunities for people and they can't go to medical school, how do you expect to get the doctors? I tell you that if we do the right things and want to train doctors in this country, and we give every region and say, look, every year, sponsor 20, 30 people to the medical school. These are children, go out there, they have some good grades, and they will be willing to come back to serve.
Okay.
I can tell you that if you get 50, 20 or 30 will go back to serve. Okay. Not all of them, 100% won't go back.
Okay.
But a lot will go back.
Will go back.
But when you expect the person to finance everything,
And then you
there
expect
are
them to
students,
go
there
to
are
the
people from this poor community. They have 6 A's, 7 A's. They've done science. They can go to medical school and they'll be willing to go and serve. But
Okay.
for their parents can't pay the balance that they have to pay
Okay,
at the
Elvis.
medical. They can't go to medical
All right,
school.
Elvis, thank
so
you.
we should begin to look at things holistically.
Differently in this
and
way,
as
all
I
right.
said, and this is lucky to have Dr. Titus Boyo and a lot of people in the medical.
as a typical example, saying.
No, as in their fold.
Okay.
So if they want to know the problems and how to do it, they have people who can give
You
them
can
the best
advise them on
advice.
it. All right. Hassan, so you were making a point before I interrupted you and brought Elvis in. You said that we shouldn't look at it in that way that, taxpayers' money have been used to train them.
I'm saying that not enough taxpayers' money has been used to train them. A lot of them perhaps will even go to Cuba to train as medical doctors. So the moment we let it look as though they are of a certain, the state has done a certain privilege to them and they need to pay back the state, then the state will not be looking at how well to deal with this matter. And that's how we've done things. Address issue on a piecemeal way. The problem Elvis has described comes to the issue of the salary structure that we have. How do we have an Article 71 holder salary structure and end of year benefit that majority of Ghanaians would never ever be able to attain so? And so conversations like that should broaden, because the point really has to do with the benefits they are getting. And so if the medical doctor knows that working 9 to 5 in the district hospital, say in Damongo, is going to get enough money to cater for himself and his family, just as the medical doctor who's working in a district hospital, say at Ablikuma West, there would not be a reason for somebody to say that I would deny posting to the Savannah region and will only want to remain in Accra. And so this brings issues to the point about our salary structure. We increase public sector workers' pay by 9%. We have utility tariff in excess of 35%. I mean, have we done them good? And this is a salary negotiations where we went to the worker unions and says that bear with us and take 9%. Now they take the 9% and you bring them utility tariff increment of over 35%. And so it is situations like these that will let people decide that they will not go to the hinterlands, for want of better description, without certain allowances, and rightly so, because if I would have to forgo a lot of things to go into a district hospital where even the conditions of service there or the living conditions there are not anything comparable to what I will enjoy in the capital city, then there should be some other reason that will be enticing me to go there. And I think that the Minister of Health, in less than 12 months, he's had too many confrontations with the persons or officers within the health sector.
I mean, there's key stakeholders.
Than usual. And I think that he should relook at his approach. Because the I'm the boss kind of approach will not go anywhere. What are you going to do? Are you going to take out their license because they decided not to go to a place that you posted them to? That will not happen. You cannot take their license. And so it has to be more negotiation, more mediation, and trying to find out why the problem exists and bringing up sustainable solutions to get these people to gladly accept posting to areas where they deem to be places where you cannot compare the living conditions to the capital cities like Accra and Kumasi.
So if they don't go, who should go?
That's the problem, and that's why we have a government. That's the problem. And
Because the whole region.
Yeah, but that's why we have
a whole region.
That's
no doctor has accepted posting to that region.
And that's the point I'm saying, that the government's approach should be, why are they not going? And how do we get them to go there? It is not to say, Memao up to next week, Mankwa Deng.
But Hansen, the development or the amenities in the regions will never be equal. Hold on, even in the developed countries, it's not equal as far as development is concerned. So if we say we'll wait for these regions to be upgraded to the level of, say, Accra or Kumasi,
that has never been the argument. That has never been the argument. No. That has never been the argument.
In my conversation with the president of the Ghana Medical Association, it was improve the amenities in these areas.
Yeah,
and you always have a shortfall.
The long-term effect is to have a uniform form of system, that the benefits that I'm getting in Accra will be comparable to the benefits that I'm getting, say, in Time. But until then, because those in Accra are getting certain amenities and those of us in Time are not getting those amenities, meet us halfway. I think it's a simple point of engagement and meeting them halfway, rather than being that sort of person who would give them ultimatum timelines. These are persons who have funded their schools. They have families to take care of. Tomorrow, when they go on retirement, most of them will not perhaps make up to 60,000 cedis a month as pension benefits.
60,000. What are you talking about? How much is the salary is not before pension? What are you talking about? What are you dreaming?
This afternoon I saw a post of the yes, because I'm told somebody takes 200,000 cedis a month.
Yes,
please, don't think about that. The point is, don't make the argument that
time out. So
it's because of the bad road should be given a V8. But the doctor should travel on the bad road.
Okay, Elvis, thank you.
What are we talking about here?
Thank you very much. Elvis Darko, editor of News Center, and Hansen Ajiman with us here at CTFM and Channel 1 TV. And we brought you another exciting edition of What the Papers Are Saying that came to live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Till we come your way again, may the good Lord be with us all.
Hello and welcome to Lifeline Conversations, a place where we explore very important topics that contribute to the growth of our families, our faith, and most importantly, our future. You are most welcome once again. Today, we want to continue from where we left off in the last episode, talking about emotional emptiness. Those of you who are married, you can agree with me that there are times that you feel disconnected from your spouse. There are times that you don't have any emotions. There are times that you feel a little disappointment, disillusion, and you feel that you are not getting what you sign up for. We will be delving deeper into this all-important subject matter But first of all, we want to take a quick break, and when we come back, my wonderful guest will be introduced, and then we take off. Don't go away. We will be back soon. Welcome back, dear friends. I am excited about this subject because in the last episode, our guest was very resourceful and shared her rich experience with us, and we are happy to have her today as well. Apioko, you are welcome once again.
Thank
and we are happy to have you again.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. So, emotional emptiness. You know, the last episode, I ended by saying that one of the things that I can say shocked me. You know, my husband and I, when we were dating, even when we were courting, we would go out together every Friday night. And now all of a sudden we're married and it becomes a boys' night. How did that even happen? And I remember asking myself, which young wife would accept this? A lot of women would not sit for this. But he is a very free spirit, and he will do what he wants to do, as will I. So it's like two stubborn people, you know, coming together, and something has to give. So I remember the very clear as one of these Friday nights, and I said to myself, you know what, you're going to have to find your own hobbies. You're going to have to find your own Friday night rituals. This isn't something that should cause so many problems that now it's a rift between you. We're already dealing with the honeymoon phase of things, and it's wearing off. So why should this be an issue? So I really had to sit down and ask myself what I would do on Friday night. He has many more friends than I do. I mean, and when I say boys, I keep saying it because he literally is a boys kind of guy. Went to Presec, very proud of Daddy. He's a global executive. He's involved in everything. He's that kind of friend. When you need him, he will show up. He will do everything in his power to be there for you. That he takes his friendships very seriously. I, on the other hand, I know a lot of people, but I have very few friends. And there's a tendency, even when I was growing up, my parents, people say, oh, you have a lot of friends. I don't. I have very few friends, but I know a lot of people. And I'm also a very affable person, but there's also a part of me that is very much an introvert. So sometimes, now we know, the psychologist will say that you can be an ambivert, half extrovert and half introvert, and I'm very much so. There are days if I'm at home, I don't come out of my room, I don't even see the hall. You know, I do that, you know. So I had to say to myself that my Friday nights needed to look different. Did it mean that I also needed my own sets of friends? Maybe. Did it mean that I needed to be more deliberate about planning that part of the week so that I wouldn't go home and feel lonely and left out? Maybe. But bottom line, I needed to do something. So what I started doing was exploring different recipes on Friday nights. So I'll have different, you know, because cooking is very therapeutic for me. And so for that matter, I must also say that maybe it was a shock for my husband. I don't cook if I don't feel like it. You know, apart from when it comes to the children. Because I don't want what is my escape to now become an albatross. No, so we cook for survival, the food is there, but Friday nights I'll explore different things. I have herbs that I'm growing on my, whether it's the akoko mesa, the basil, the rosemary, they're on my windowsill in the kitchen, play with them. I may have tasted something, I try to reconstruct the taste in my head and just tune out. Or I write. Or if I have to go out, I go out. And that really solved an impending problem in our marriage. I'm telling you, because I was becoming a little nag about it. I really was. And I just had to stop myself and say, is this necessary? He does everything he has to do for you. He's present, he supports you. You've seen what other young couples are going through, young women in marriage are going through. Does this have to be a fight? It doesn't. And it's never been an issue since. So maybe what I'll say to you is, how can people get to the point? Because it was a difficult thing to do, and I acknowledge that not everybody, based on the expectations that they had when they were going into marriage, may be able to stop themselves and say, no, you are being unfair, or this is not something that you cannot find a compromise for. How do you get to that space where you say to yourself, I must compromise, I must find my own hobbies, I must be myself?
Now, I love the word compromise. You see, marriage is work. Marriage is responsibility. Marriage is rolling up your sleeves and getting to work. Marriage is giving up some form of interest or rights for peace to prevail. It's important that you have raised this question again, because what happened to you, I believe, is happening to a lot of people. I love to play soccer. I love to watch soccer. It's like my second passion. Even when I travel, I like to look for a place where I can sweat, I can play my soccer. Maybe if I hadn't become a preacher, I would have become a footballer.
You sound like my husband, because he too doesn't compromise on his soccer.
You know, and so that is me, okay? Now I am married. How do I keep my sense of individuality in the union? How am I able to connect very well, even though I still want to express my individuality? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 7. Now scripture says each of us have different gifts, and God celebrates our differences. But what I see, especially in African or Ghanaian marriages, is that we like to stifle people out. We like to suppress people, our spouses, our partners. And especially women are the victims here. You know, we like to push them into our space, and we like to make the rules and make sure they flow along. And no, let me first of all say that allow your spouse to be him or herself. He or she had hobbies. He or she had interests. He or she had goals and aspirations before they got married. So allow them to express themselves in those areas. Allow them to be different. Allow them to grow in their respective spaces. And then when you come together, you become a beautiful couple. I would like to say again that when I grow as an individual, it helps the growth of our marriage. Okay, one of the things you talked about, I will also want to touch on, is friendships. You see, the fact that you are married does not mean you shouldn't have friends. And let me emphasize on that. You should also have decent friends. All right? Because you are married. You can still stay married to people who will drag you back, people who will put you back into things that married people are not supposed to do. So get strategic friends. Okay? It's so amazing how we feel when we reconnect with our old school mates, and you know, the memories we share and the energy we are able to build with those friendships. You see, it will amaze you that when your husband goes out to meet his friends, he comes back with new energy.
And I realize that. I mean, that's one of the things I'm like, why are you making this a big deal? You know, and I've also realized that those friendships and those interactions also bring blessings to the marriage.
Oh yeah,
because he shows up for his friends, he makes time for them.
They will also show up.
They will also show up, and we benefit from that as a family unit. So there are many times where you need something, and he travels a lot. He's traveling. I don't stress, because the band of friends will make sure that
will show up,
Mrs. Nayo is okay
and make it happen.
She's not stressing. Sometimes even to the point where they'll go and do grocery shopping and bring it to the house. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Or they know I'm busy. I'm working, let's say today, for example, maybe I'm at work, I'm doing something. The friends will show up, take the children out, if there's no one to mind them. So I really had to, of course, the children bit came later. We didn't have children in the very beginning, but I began to realize that no, there are certain blessings that even come from those, like you put it, strategic and decent friendships. So why am I fighting it?
So the key words here are strategic and decent friendships. If you're not careful, these same friends will and can destroy your relationship. So be selective, get the right friends, and build friendships. You know, when you go out, meet your boys and your girls, like I said in the beginning, you generate some energy. You know, it takes off some stress off your shoulders, and when you come home, you are a new person. You have fresh strength to face the challenges at home, if there are any. All too soon, I think we need to take a break and come back to push further. And so don't go away. We have a lot more to discuss and, of course, to share with you. I know this will be a blessing to you. We will be right back.
The Matrix Verse experience has never been just about poetry, but about the lives behind the poems.
They sit with folded arms as the rivers turn to sludge.
This year, the Gospel According to Adulting explores our shared journey: work, love, money, grief, identity, and hope. Through verse, performance, and multidisciplinary art, TMVE becomes a space for reflection, healing, and creative growth.
Is it not the warmth that spills from shared cooking pots that makes us fun?
It brings creatives and policymakers together to confront the real issues shaping adulthood today. Anchored in Ghana, connected to the world, the Matrix Verse Experience 2025. Join us 29th November to 7th December in Accra and across the diaspora.
Welcome back. It is getting so interesting. I love this guest of mine. She is so smart and her experiences are so rich. Abioko, I can't believe that you have all that within 9 years of marriage. You are so blessed. So blessed. I want to know from you. You see, there are phases in every marriage. I want you to share your personal experience with us, how you were able to deal with this. You know, sometimes when the event is over, and then when the chemicals have subsided, and now you are dealing with the harsh realities of marriage, how are you able to deal with that phase, that honeymoon phase that phases off, and now you have gotten into routine? You know, you are looking at work, you're looking at responsibility, you're looking at marriage itself. You wake up in the morning, you see another man's son in your room, or another woman's daughter in your room. When the honeymoon phase is over, how did you survive? How did you deal with it?
This question, Bishop, you've hit a nerve. But I think I'll start by saying that there's an adage that goes that preparation meets opportunity, right? And I think that was my experience. And our experience as a couple. Why am I saying this? I mentioned in the last episode that we cohabited for 2 years. So even though there wasn't, the people were not walking around naked all the time, you know, at least we were used to sharing our space with each other. That was one. Then another big thing was that my husband, I mean, a lot of women would call a man like him a miser.
Okay.
He is frugal.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't splurge, because there's nothing that I want that he can afford that I will not give. But even from the day he asked me to be his girlfriend, he was very honest. And it's one of the things that attracted me. Too many men were lying to us about what they had and what they didn't have. The money they had, which they didn't really have.
You don't say it.
But for him, he would tell you, this is what I have. This is what I can afford at this time. If you give me 6 months, I can work towards this. Very honest.
Wow.
So when he tells you, I can't afford this now, you know he's not lying to you. But then also, it pushed me to make sure that I'm also earning for myself. Maybe also, so on the preparation meets opportunity bit, being the daughter of an economist also came. My father, you're going school shopping. And if he's watching this, I'm sure he'll laugh. You write your school list and you come with a budget. If everything will cost 150 cedis, that's what he's giving you.
Wow.
If he happens to give you, maybe, now we have 200 cedi and 100 cedi notes, right? So maybe everything was supposed to cost 250, 250 Ghana cedis. So he gives you 300 cedis, a 200 cedi note and 100 cedi. You come and account for the change. It is not automatic that you take it. And so it really taught me, my sisters and I, the value of money. So when you're spending, you're thinking about how you're spending. And then I come and meet a man and marry one who thinks this way. So even in preparing for where we'll stay a whole year before, what are we renting? Where are we renting? How many bedrooms should we consider? Why should we consider? All of that, you know? And so there was that. Now, coming to the honeymoon first, we didn't go on a honeymoon. We didn't travel anywhere.
Okay.
We decided that we'd rather use the money to furnish our house and then save towards some things. So our first weekend, we both had to get back to work pretty early. I remember we got married did the blessing on the 10th of December. I was back at work on the 19th. He was back at work on the 22nd.
Okay.
So it wasn't a lot of time.
Right.
So you know what we did? The first night, you know, after everything, you sleep. Next day, we hadn't got any furniture. So we sat in the hall, ordered kenke, komikekina, and that's what we ate.
Wow.
And we had conversations.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
That's
When
beautiful.
I tell people this story, they think but that's what we did. Because we said we weren't going to ask anybody for money to go on honeymoon. We weren't going, when we have enough, we'll do our own version of a honeymoon. But one thing that we did in preparing for the wedding, all the euphoria, we said, let's ask people to give us cash gifts. Come and see my aunties. No. You people, you are from good backgrounds. People would think your parents don't have money, and we didn't care. So I wrote a small poem. I can't remember exactly what it was. I wish I had it to share with you. But we attached it to the invitation, asking for cash gifts. So we used some of that money because people brought us, even the old ladies in church, some of them put 50 cedis, what they had, their widow's mite, in an envelope and gave it to us. So those who brought actual gifts, they brought them, you know, knowing that maybe there are things we actually need. So the money, we used it to furnish the house. So within that week, we went around shopping. Now, when all that euphoria had died down, how did I deal with it personally? We had a conversation because we realized what was happening. And we decided that we had to unlearn this notion, this misconception, as you put it, Bishop, that love is effortless. It is not. You have to put effort into the love.
I love that.
Look at the person every day. I realize that my husband doesn't like to bath with shower gel. He wants the bar soap. So when I'm going shopping, I'll buy bar soap for him. I realize that he doesn't, I can go to work and come back and not, it's my own house and not make my bed. When I was in school, I was laying my bed every morning. Sometimes I don't feel like it. But he wants to come home to a bed crisp and clean and ironed at the side. So I have to do that for him. All these little things. And sometimes we think it doesn't matter. But I realize that it's the little things that bring joy to the person and even give them the space to want to do more for you. And that's how we lived. And
Talking about little things and then love, I want to highlight on that a bit because many people think that love is a feeling, but love goes beyond a feeling. There is an episode I like to share between Jesus and Peter. Jesus is asking Peter a lot of repeated questions until Peter is getting upset. Do you love me? He says, yes, you know I love you. Do you really love me? He said, yes, I love you 3 times. He was not getting what Jesus was talking about. He was talking about a feeling. Jesus was talking about action. You know, do you love me? So I am excited that you understood what love is, that love goes beyond a feeling. The expert will say that the honeymoon phase will take about 6 months, between 6 months to 18 months, after which everything dies down and now you are back to factory resets, like they say, then you need to work. That is where the issue of love comes in. I will put on your submission that every married person should read the chapter on love in the Bible. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It says, love is kind. Love is considerate. Love does not take record of wrongs. Love is forgiving. And on it's talking about love. Real love in the marriage setting is action. It's a decision backed with action. The girl who doesn't make her bed, now there is a gentleman who likes the bed made, then you have to be kind enough and be considerate enough and to work to make sure that at least he is also happy when he comes home. So it is love. We must practice love, not just confess love. And little things like you said, you can confess love to your partner. That short phrase, I love you, it works a lot of magic. I love you, write notes and send him or her text messages and make sure that you are communicating. Make sure that certain things are not coming in between you and widening the gap between you. So after the honeymoon phase, it's time for work.
It's time for work.
We will take a break and come back to continue. Please don't go away.
Ningo Pram Pram, this is our moment to gather in one spirit for a night where the presence of God fills the air and every voice rises in worship. As Jata Foundation presents Ningo Pram Pram in worship. One stage, one purpose, one voice. Ministering live on stage is Ghana's finest gospel giants, CC Chum, Team Eternity, MOG, Joe Metal, Minister Paulo, Perez Music, PSA Esther, and Kofi Owusu Prepra. Venue Anglican School Park, Pram Pram. Date Friday, December 5th, 2025. Time 5 p.m. prompt. Come early, come ready, and come expectant. This event is proudly brought to you by Jata Foundation and under the auspices of the MP of Ningo Pram Pram, Honorable Sam George. Media partners, Channel 1 TV, Ningo Pram Pram in worship. This is more than an event. It's an encounter you don't want to miss.
Welcome back from the break. We want to push further and equip you with certain practical, simple things that we can do to survive. Not just survive, but also thrive in this very important phase. Marriage is in phases. We have talked about the honeymoon phase. We said it takes 6 months to 18 months. After that, how do I survive? And I love it. You see, there is nothing like, we can talk about all the theories, we can talk about all the book knowledge, but I love it when we talk from our life experiences. Abioko, how did you survive? How did you thrive?
One thing that we did was we talked a lot about discovering ourselves, and I said we're two very strong personalities, very calm people, but if you encounter us, it's Jata and Coach, a lion and a tiger. We're both, very strong personalities. But one thing that we decided that we had to do was allow each other to be free. And I've given examples of that already, but I'll give you an example from his side of things. When he realized that I still wanted to grow myself as a performer in the poetry space, media is something that I had really fallen in love with, and I wanted to take it seriously. There's no time my husband will say, where are you? It's late, come home, you're a woman. Nothing like that. In fact, he may even show up and park and wait for you or watch you perform, be the wind behind your sail, basically. That's him. Now we're at a point where we're both trying to build the next phases of ourselves, because like you said, there's always change, right? And I see him go out, and he, sometimes you're looking for an investor for your business. And the investor says, the only time I have is 1 a.m. And you will go. Because that's where the business deals are signed. It's not in somebody's office, in a CEO's office. And we're learning that the CEO says, you know what, I'll be at, a certain restaurant or a jazz club at this time. Come there. You go. Then I said to myself, yeah, but I can go too, because I also have things that I want sponsored, invested in. I want people that I can put on my shows as a producer and all that. So I also go. If somebody says, come at 1 a.m., I go. I don't let the fact that I'm a woman hold me back.
Maybe he allows you to go.
He allows it. He just wants to know where you are so that he doesn't have to worry.
Okay.
Not because he's policing your movement. Okay. And he'll even tell you, my husband, he's a feminist, and he says it very openly. And he will fight and argue with any man, woman who says that women should not be allowed to thrive. So that's the kind of person I'm married to. Then together, we've been very deliberate about building new hobbies from scratch. So, for example, we both fall in love with Nigerian food. So we go and explore Nigerian restaurants and then do some of the recipes together. Deliberately together. It's not something I was doing on my own before we got married. It's not something he was doing, but together we found something that we can do together.
I love the part of developing new hobbies together. You see, it helps us to also emphasize the fact that even though we keep our individuality, we can still function well in the union. All too soon our time is up. We have to continue in the next episode still talking about this. I don't think we can exhaust this in a whole month, but we will be back in the next episode to continue. So keep the track. We will come back and discuss it. But before we go away, I want to give you a scripture that says in Ecclesiastes, a threefold cord is not easily broken. It's talking about you, your spouse, and God. You see, the marriage is between you and your spouse, but God is the most important partner in your marriage. So most importantly, developing new hobbies together, trying to understand certain things and going to work. Pray together. Involve God in your relationship. Pray together with your wife. I understand that sometimes praying together with your spouse is the most difficult thing men find doing, but push it. Try. Hold your spouse's hands and pray together. Invoke the blessings of God, invoke the grace of God. The Bible says there is nothing too hard for God. Even though this phase, this developmental phase and this reality phase is difficult, with God, all things are possible. We will see you again in the next phase, but I pray for you that God will give you the wisdom and the grace to navigate through any phase you find yourself in your marriage. It is well with you. You will survive if we survived, and you will thrive. God bless you and bless your marriage. Bye for now.
For today's episode, we're going to check what makes Africa bold, proud, and unapologetically creative. And before I explore what's all in that curious Mauritius, here's what we got for you today. She's a proud South African, and her sculptures are bold and creative at the same time. Ribane Finger.
Coffee is the pride of Kenya, and Esther Atieno, as the female barista, takes it one step further. Then we journey to Nigeria, where the Loud Urban Choir is redefining choral music, bold and proudly African.
I'm Nalin Baloo, and you're watching AfriMax. When an injury ended his dream of becoming a professional athlete, Senegal's Aboubakarim Endo found a new field to shine in. Fashion, bold and proudly African.
A century of style and history at the heart of Dakar. This self-taught designer stitches the fabric of a new dream, one born from pain, persistence, and possibility. But how did Aboubakarim's failed dream of becoming a soccer star lead to handmade clothes whose designs evoke migration paths?
I think about it a lot, like the design I want and the way I want to be. It's not especially, I don't take it out in paper usually. I just thought about it and then I come and I bring my own clothes and I cut it off. And I tell my workers, this is the way I want it. This is the way I want it. This is the way I want it. And if I go to my bag, people make my bags and stuff. I come to them and then I do some drawing. Not great, but they get the memo.
Born in Guinea to Senegalese parents, Aboubakarim grew up loving fashion. But this only influenced his sense of style, not his dream. Before the stitch, there was the pitch. He grew up wanting to play professional soccer, a dream he passionately pursued. He wanted to see the world and represent his country. Soccer was his ticket. In his teenage years, his parents sent him to Senegal to enroll into a soccer academy. Soon enough, he was trying his fortunes in America. He had just become a dad. How was it like playing soccer in the US?
I was very excited. It was a great experience. Actually, it was a great experience. I play in D2. When I was playing soccer, because it was a D2 in the US, the D2 they don't pay. They take you in charge for your traveling, your hotel expenses, your food and stuff. But it was like playing for college, you know? You don't get paid, but you get taken care of.
Just as he was about to take off on his career as a professional soccer player in the United States, an injury tore him away from his dream and life as he knew it. What followed was a raw, uncertain chapter. In between periods of stillness and soul-searching, Aboubakarim left the US and returned to Senegal. He was reinventing himself by finding inspiration in his own culture. His start was small. He stitched a tie here and a bow tie there, learning the ropes of building a fashion brand with local materials. What sacrifices did he make to fit in his new path?
There's a lot of obstacles. It's a lot of obstacles, man. It was, because finding materials, finding good workers, and then dedicating workers, it's tough. It's tough here, but you have to push it, and then you have to teach people your vision. You have to impose your vision to people, and then choose who want to come with you in that vision and then who don't. So that was it's a hard decision sometimes, because you work with people who need the work, but they don't realize they need the work. But you cannot just keep them because it's friend, or it's, you have to be firm because you have your vision, and then you have to do that.
Kakimbo, his fashion label, was born as a promise to make a successful career in Senegal, that he wouldn't have to leave the continent for better opportunities.
I mean, the feeling was great. And yeah, I got very excited when I started making like a ties and bow ties. And then I remember my first sold, my first exposition, and everybody got excited about the ties and bow tie because they never see anything like this in Senegal, and particularly the tie with the fabric, the wax print fabric. Yeah, they never seen it before. So people got very excited, and then that made me excited to keep on going.
Now, Abubakarim is a rising voice in African design, blending the discipline, routine, and a love for repetition in the very muscles he honed on the page to his newfound purpose in stitchwork. Although at the start, Abubakarim pursued soccer as a passport to the world, he found style that brought the world to him. Now, he is focused on using fashion to inspire many people to build Africa from within.
Oh, wow. Oh, my word. This is fantastic. Ah. I love this. We are at Curious Mauritius in Chameral, a place full of bold illusions and creative twists. I'm here with Kevin to tell me more. So what's the creative spark behind this Curious Mauritius?
Yes, we have beautiful beaches in Mauritius, but Mauritius is so much more than these sandy beaches. So we wanted to create something different that fits all age groups, and they can come here and immerse themselves and make somebody discovers Mauritius differently.
And why are immersive exhibitions different?
Because it involves challenges, so it's more interactive, and it's a surprise element. It's a magic when they come here, and it's them that creates the magic, and they discover all the curiosities and attractions that we have here. So if you come with your family, and you can easily bond together by doing all the activities that we have here.
Who creates this illusion? How do you bring those bold ideas to life?
It's always the whole team, so we tend to sit down and discuss what's next. We do inspire ourselves from what's happening around the world, and we try to adapt it to a immersion context. And every year, when people come, they're going to see something different. So this is why we're quite popular with the local market.
Talking about boldness, what happens when chicken feet step into the world of art? South African artist Rebone Finger turns township pride and everyday object into bold, creative statements. Check this out.
At one point in township culture, having cheese in your sandwich was a sign of privilege. Enter the term cheese girl. And she wasn't one of them.
There's no real way to define what a cheese girl is. But I think that's what makes it interesting, because it opens the term up to more commentary. And by choice, I've associated and claimed the term because I see the term as potentiating something that exists beyond suffrage.
Meet Rebone Finger, a multimedia sculpture artist using ceramics to explore Black identity, class, and the contradictions of modern South African life.
I grew up in Bloemfontein in a rough township by a single mom. So growing up, I was constantly associated to the term cheese girl. And it was ironic to me because I don't think I emulated anything that was quote unquote cheese girl. The only thing that I think people may have identified as being cheesy is probably small social indicators like having access to Monopoly.
Now, as an artist, she's unpacking the many layers of the South African cheese girl through her art.
Oftentimes, Blackness is assumed into positions of pain and suffrage. So when you take a term like that, which was initially used to alienate and use it to reimagine oneself into opulence, not just as a way of making opulence an aspiration, but making opulence attainable, is what I have now imagined Cheese Girl to be.
What happens when symbols of supposed lack, like chicken feet, are elevated into symbols of glamour?
Food is an essential part of my work because it's an indicator of social economic disparities. And chicken feet ironically fall at the bottom of the food hierarchy in the township. Then the kota slightly above. A kota, it's a loaf of bread that is ordinarily stuck with acha, chips, rational Vienna, depending on your pocket, polony or cheese, depending on your pocket. And that's the African burger. I am celebrating Blackness beyond struggle. I think it's very important that, especially in this post-apartheid era, I think we need to start creating utopic worlds for us to occupy and transition from suffrage to leisure, to rest, to abundance, to accessibility and opportunity.
But why ceramics? What is it about clay that allows Rubone to communicate her ideas?
The moment you take something like chicken feet and translate it into a medium like ceramics, you completely juxtaposition where it sits on the social hierarchy. So the moment you translate something that falls at the bottom of the hierarchy into a more expensive material, you are almost flipping the narrative.
What stories are hidden behind the things we consume? And why is Instagram aesthetics another area of exploration for Rubone?
Social media has redefined what Black luxury looks like. Louis Vuittons, as you know, are already a symbol of class. They are the shoes to wear, and that sort of luxury is almost inaccessible and unattainable. So I wanted to reimagine what the Louis Vuitton would be as an object of Black utopia and how that would look like. How do we insert ourselves into those spaces? I thought of chicken feet, which fall at the bottom of the social hierarchy in terms of food.
Rubone Fingers' work challenges us to see Blackness beyond struggle.
This piece is titled Caucus, and it mimics a gathering. And acrylic nails essentially are one of the smaller ways that Black women luxuriate in townships. And with the Cardi B culture that has now taken over, with the longer the nails, the more art you have on your nail, actually is a symbol of the social economics that are constantly happening. This beauty is titled She's a Beauty. Permission to clutch your pearls granted. My work is about creating a space for Blackness in prosperity, opulence, luxury. So it was very important to step away from the idea of the Black diamond as new money and step into the idea of the Black pearl as a preposition for old money, Black old money. So I think of this piece as a symbol of generational wealth.
Rubone Fingers' work challenges us to see Blackness beyond struggle. It invites us to rethink ideas of success and luxury.
Back to bold illusions and playful creativity here at Curious Mauritius, where I'm now with Gulshan, who shows me all the wonders. Hi, Gulshan.
Hello.
So, what are the most popular illusions here?
It's mirror maze, and when you go in, you think like you're lost in it, and then most of the guests like it. And when they come out, we ask them, any mirror broken?
Which illusion or interactive exhibit is your personal favorite and why?
So for me, it's the upside down house, because my team had worked day and night to finish it. So that's why this is my personal exhibit.
This is amazing. I'm curious to see more and take some more pics for the gram. On this spot in 1066, nothing of great significance happened. Now we know we're in for some craziness. If the illusion happens here. Talking about being truly African, she's got a smile as warm as her coffee. Meet Esther Etienne, Kenya's barista champion, brewing passion and pride into every cup.
Growing up, Esther Etienne wanted to be a doctor. Today, she calls herself a coffee doctor. At only 28 years old, she has broken barriers beyond her age, becoming a two-time barista champion.
First time I told my mom that I'm venturing into coffee, she said, my journey, like tea. No, I told her, no, coffee, like I'm making coffee, like brewing coffee, like, you know, doing some arts. I'm a barista. She got so confused until when I decided to, like, you know, do the championship and they could see me on television and they're like, oh, okay.
Coffee consumption is on the rise worldwide, but where it comes from, coffee isn't quite as popular yet. Despite all odds, Tess, the barista, as Esther calls herself, wants to change that.
I decided that we, as a country, we grow coffee and we have this beautiful stuff in our country. So why not utilize it? So my main aim was to bring these youths, okay? We train and learn how this coffee business or coffee in general works, so that when they get out of here, someone can just decide to open up their own coffee shop, or someone can just decide, you know what, I want to venture into.
Having been in the coffee industry for a little over 8 years, the double barista champion still has to face challenges in a male-dominated industry.
Being a woman in coffee industry or just any other industry ain't easy, and especially someone of my age. So it's been a long and bumpy ride, which I'm really proud of.
In Kenya, 30% of the labour force is employed in agriculture, including coffee farming. To enable women in particular to participate in the coffee business, Esther founded her Line Hills Coffee School. To make this a success, she has partnered with the coffee farmer Edward Bangatuni. He farms in this 80-acre piece of land that was passed down to him by his forefathers, who introduced coffee farming in 1983.
When she told me her age, I was quite surprised from the things she had achieved in coffee.
Edward's farm employs over 200 people directly and another 300 indirectly. Esther and Edward's collaboration aims to create even more job opportunities and drive economic growth in the Nandi Hills region. Despite tea being the preferred drink in Kenya, there's a rise of coffee culture in the country.
Kenyan coffee is very special when it comes to its unique flavors and the acidity itself. Like when you go out there and you say Kenyan coffee, they will say, yeah, the bright acidity, the vibrant acidity that you get in Kenyan coffee. Because when even you meet in a cupping table, and then people are cupping, they will identify this is Kenyan because of its unique flavors in it.
For Esther, coffee is a way of life. It's about sharing her knowledge and inspiring others to find joy in the craft. Her interest in the creation of a school was to be an inspiration to girls, but boys haven't been left out.
She makes us feel like we are a family, and I think that's the first thing that the students like about her, the interaction, the way she makes us believe that this coffee can bring out a career out of it, and it can change the entire world. So we believe that with her journey, what she has achieved so far, being a two-time barista champion, we are so much motivated that we can also reach the world arena and also do something with our life.
As she sips her cup of coffee, watching her students perfect their craft, Esther knows that she has done more than just teach them to make coffee. She has taught them to believe in themselves and their potential.
They're bold, proud, and loud. Loud Urban Choir, a 16-member musical journey from Nigeria, who are making waves with the iconic choral remix, Prick Your Ears Up.
This is Nigeria's #1 urban contemporary choir. The Loud Urban Choir.
We've come together to create this thing. This is something that is not being done in Nigeria right now. We really challenge the Afrobeat space because we have come to show that Afrobeat is just it's not one sound. There's different sounds that can come from Africa.
From studio covers to global stages, they're redefining what a choir can be. With their rich potpourri of cover versions, Loud Urban Choir is redefining what contemporary African music can sound like. It's a rich tapestry of elevated sounds, bold, genre blending, and proudly African.
We all come from different musical backgrounds, and diversity as well.
Some of us mostly study from church, of course. I love Afro soul, I love Afro pop.
Afrobeat, I love Afrobeat.
One of my favorite reggae songs would be Man Down, or my song Dreadlocks.
My taste in music is R&B soul.
I really do not have a favorite music. Their breakout remix of Bloody Samaritan with Arya Starr and Kelly Rowland to collaborations with Burna Boy. They've become a movement, redefining sound. And all this in just 6 years since their formation. The journey wasn't always smooth. Conflicting schedules and limited funding posed early challenges, but they refused to let that be the end of the story.
You know, there's a feeling you get after putting in so much work and being heard. That's how we felt.
And you know, the world keyed in. It wasn't just Nigeria. We had people using our cover, you know, some huge footballers. It was massive. So they jumped on it. That's how we like to say it. And then that was how it happened. So when you bring value, you just attract the right people to you.
Their choir mobilizes the masses with clips on social media. But how are these click-worthy covers created? How exactly do they keep going?
We rub minds together. We come to the studio, meet with the whole team, submit these ideas, you know. Everybody looks at it, and we start to pick, oh, we think we should make this. Oh, we think too many ideas sometimes, you know, but as the director, you have to make sure we reach a result that appeals to the market, you know. So it's usually amazing and it comes out fine at the end of the day.
Like, that was the one thing that I was really out for, to create the music. So if someone heard them the first time, they loved the music. And if I heard that song that time, the first time, I get the full experience. You know, there's a special joy when, you know, we have the cover of Funds, for instance, Davido's Funds, and then someone in the comment section is saying, hey, I heard this, and then I went to look for this, and then I actually found the track. So that's, like, for me, the biggest, it's one of the most satisfying part of it.
They take preparation very seriously, both mentally and physically. Rehearsals are a major priority. Each week, they meet at least twice to run through set lists, rehearse vocals, and fine-tune their performances. Vocal warm-ups are non-negotiable, and every set is carefully tailored to suit specific events they prepare for.
I was just speaking to one of my friends the other time and said, this choir does not want me to do my own thing again. No. Yeah, but, I mean, that's funny, but yes, but that's pretty much, because in the past weeks, we have been working back to back to back to back to back to. We're here today for rehearsal. Yesterday, I was almost dying of sleep because I was sleeping at the rehearsal. So that's how hard we work. The other day, someone was saying, let's take a day off, let's take a day off. I said, which day? And it was difficult for the person to find a day because that day is actually very important.
Behind the voices are hours of vocal warm-ups, synchronized choreography, and studio grind. From beat-building sessions to songwriting huddles, and the magic doesn't stop here.
How we manage the activities and make it work in a way that it doesn't affect our individual careers is that we kind of like have a pre-planned schedule. So that way we know how to fuse in our individual schedules so it doesn't clash. So that's how we do it. I must say that it's not an easy one. Some of us are married with kids. We get to leave our kids. Sometimes we bring them along. We leave our husbands at home. It is tough. It's a lot of commitment.
After all their jamming with Nigeria's top music stars, what's the next big dream for the choir?
The Loud Urban Choir is an affiliation of Big Dreamers, and we have major plans for our future. Part of that is putting out our debut album, an EP, you know, that contains some of the covers that we've done, the major hits. Another thing is to release our debut single. All of that we're hoping to do this year.
From hustle to harmony, from Lagos to the world, the Loud Urban Choir isn't just making music, they're shaping a soundscape where culture walks in rhythm and every note sings of what's possible.
From mesmerizing, curious Mauritius, we hope you enjoyed this bold, proud, and truly African journey. Don't forget to hit us up on our socials for more. Until next time, goodbye.
Behind every closed door, a secret is waiting to explode.
Always been regarded as a useful and a sound party person. So I gather there's a fair chance of me making the office, provided we don't get into trouble. So don't start any trouble with the police.
Detective Calls, an intriguing stage play brought to life on television, where every clue matters and every character is a potential suspect.
About 2 hours ago, a young woman died at the police hospital.
This will take only the service of a fierce and yielding and sharp as steel detective to uncover the truth behind this web of lies and betrayal.
And so, you used the power you had as the daughter of a good customer and also that of a powerful, politically connected man in the town to punish the girl. Why didn't you come to me when you realized you were in such a mess?
Because you are not the kind of father a chap could come to when you're in trouble, that's why.
Grow from Image Bureau Productions. Detective Calls, coming soon on Channel One TV.
Ningo Prom Prom, this is our moment to gather in one spirit for a night where the presence of God fills the air and every voice rises in worship. As Jata Foundation presents Ningo Prom Prom in worship. One stage, one purpose, one voice. Ministering live on stage is Ghana's finest gospel giants, CC Chum, Team Eternity, MOG, Joe Metal, Minister Paulo, Perez Music, PSA Esther, and Kofi Owusu Prepra. Venue Anglican School Park, Prom Prom. Date Friday, December 5th, 2025. Time 5 p.m. prompt. Come early, come ready, and come expectant. This event is proudly brought to you by Jata Foundation and under the auspices of the MP of Ningo Prom Prom, Honorable Sam George. Media partners, Channel One TV. Ningo Prom Prom in worship. This is more than an event. It's an encounter you don't want to miss.
Hello and welcome to Channel One Newsroom from our studios at number 5, Owula Hansen Lane at Tesano, here in Accra. I am Nanatifu Boateng. Coming up, Majority in Parliament wants Office of the Special Prosecutor abolished, while advocating for Attorney General's Department to be empowered to fight corruption.
I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. I honestly.
Officials of the Office of the Special Prosecutor inspect and verify landed property of private legal practitioner Martin Pebu as surety to secure bail.
Ghanaian people have spoken. You saw yesterday the Ghanaian people, social media, traditional media, as we do the news stories, I'm sure they've seen that, no, they've lost badly. They've lost badly. So the story remains that Kissi Ejagbin sat on his hands and allowed Ofori-Atta to run out of this country. When Ofori-Atta had 5 cases pending before Kissi Ejagbin, which leads to a reasonable...
Away from that, President Mahama orders investigations into mass failure recorded in the 2025 West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination, WASSCE.
It has become an issue of great concern. One of the major things that has taken place in the last several years is the neglect of basic education.
Also coming up, Greater Accra Regional Minister warns MMDCEs to ensure free flow of traffic before, during, and after Christmas. or face sanctions.
Intensify patrols, strict enforcement of traffic regulations, and the deployment of additional MTTD personnel to manage known congestion hotspots such as major intersections, marketplaces, malls, restaurants, popular clubs, and...
Coming up in Channel One Business. Ghana and other developing countries end 2025 under financial pressure owing from external debt servicing. And later in Channel One Sports. Former Cote d'Ivoire striker Didier Drogba lauds new World Cup format, saying it will give more room for African football development. Thank you for choosing us this hour. Let's begin the bulletin from Parliament, where the majority is calling for the abolition of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, insisting that the Attorney General's office should be empowered as the sole institution responsible for investigating and prosecuting corruption cases. Now addressing Parliament, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga questioned the rationale behind under-resourcing the Attorney General while allocating substantial funds to the OSP, which he argues has failed to meet expectations. Channel One News' Nia Ikwe Okine reports.
Following the detention of private legal practitioner Martin Pebu by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Majority Caucus on Thursday disclosed that it will summon the Special Prosecutor over what it describes as an abuse of office. This generated debate on the floor of Parliament, with some lawmakers calling for the abolishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Speaker, we are saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has abused its powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to say that this House, we created the office. And the Office of the Special